I know. It's time for the No Half Step in Hockey coverage, so let me deliver the goods. It's time for operation number 720. That's right. We're already to operation number 720. And at this moment in hockey history, the Nashville Predators currently find themselves in 5th place in the Central Division after 56 games skated. They have a record of 28, 22, and 62 points on the road where their next game will take place. They have a record of 12, 12, and 3. Not bad overall to have a 500 record on the road at this point in the season. 163 is the goals for, 169 is the goals against. That means the goal differential is -6. Now, the Nashville Predators' next opponent is also in the Central Division. It is the Arizona Coyotes, and they currently find themselves in 7th place in the Central Division. After 58 games skated, 2 more games than Nashville, they hold a record of 20 victories, 29 regulation losses, and 9 overtime losses, 49 points. They have a home record of 13, 9, and 2. They've scored 158 goals, and they've given up 205 goals. That means they have a goal differential of -47. Now, let's talk about the entire Central Division from the top down, because we are at that point where we need to start updating the standings as often as we can. The Dallas Stars continue to be in first place with 72 points. The Winnipeg Jets are 1 point behind at 71. They have played the same amount of games. The Minnesota Wild have also played 58 games, just like the top 2 teams in the division. The Minnesota Wild have 69 points. They are currently sitting 3 points out of first place, and they are automatically qualified for the playoffs at this moment in time. The Colorado Avalanche are in 4th place with 67 points, then Nashville with 62, St. Louis with 56, Arizona with 49, and the Chicago Blackhawks are in 8th place and last in the Central Division with 45 points. That means that the Nashville Predators are currently 5 points behind the Colorado Avalanche for the second wild card spot, and they are currently 7 points behind the Minnesota Wild for an automatic playoff qualifying slot in the Central Division. Now, for the Nashville Predators, this 2-game road trip wraps up with the Coyotes game. Then the Preds head home for a 1-game homestand against the Pittsburgh Penguins. That'll take place on Tuesday night, and the Preds are off for a lengthy road trip and also quite a bit of mileage. On March the 2nd, the Nashville Predators will be in Florida to take on the Panthers. Then on March the 4th, the Predators will be in Chicago to take on the Blackhawks. On the 6th, the Predators will be in Vancouver, and then on the 9th, right back in Arizona playing against these same Arizona Coyotes yet again. This road trip is incredibly long coming up. Now, the season series between these Central Division rivals, this will be the 3rd of 4 meetings on the season. I just mentioned the 4th will be coming up on the 9th of March, again in Arizona. So let's go back and talk about the 2 games that took place at Bridgestone Arena. It was on November the 21st when these 2 teams met for the first time this year. The Preds scored a 4-3 victory in the shootout. It was the captain, Roman Josi, with the goal and an assist for 2 points. Matt Duchene and Mikhail Granlund chipped in with the other goals in that game. Most recently, February the 13th, the Preds fell on home ice 4-2 to the Coyotes. It was Krause tormenting the Preds for 2 goals. Josi and Sissons were the goal scorers for the Nashville Predators. That means Roman Josi has scored a goal in each game against Arizona this season. The trend should continue against the Arizona Coyotes going into this game, because Roman Josi is absolutely on a tear right now. And speaking of the Arizona Coyotes, let's talk about their most recent stretch of games. Let's go back and look at a sample size of just 5, and for Predators fans, it's going to be painful, but we go back and we mentioned it yet again, February the 13th, a 4-2 victory for Arizona in Nashville. And then on the 15th, it was a 1-0 shootout victory versus the Tampa Bay Lightning. Then on the 18th, a 6-5 shootout loss at L.A., followed up the next day on the 19th with a 3-2 overtime win versus the Columbus Blue Jackets. And then on the 22nd, their most recent game, a 6-3 loss versus the Calgary Flames. Vejmelka in net for that one, 45 out of 51. Incredibly heavy workload in that game. Injuries starting to become a problem for the Nashville Predators now. Ryan Johansson going to be out 3 months, which means the rest of the season, and his rehab will take place well into the summer, heading towards next training camp. Forsberg day-to-day still, but on the road trip. Carrier, same situation day-to-day, but on the road trip, and there's only 1 game left on the road trip, so you have to anticipate at least one of them are going to get into the lineup for this next game against the Arizona Coyotes. Also waiting word on Parssinen, left in the second period, injured. Clearly something very wrong with him, and he did not return in the third period at all, so we're waiting on his injury status. And Borowiecki, of course, still on injury reserve, and I don't believe anticipated to be back this season. Not at this point, not with as long as he has been on injury reserve. Taking a look inside the matchup, the NHL ranks and the numbers between the Nashville Pers and the Arizona Coyotes, and they are not the prettiest numbers of all, but it should lead to some balanced competition, as we've seen. The teams are 1-1 so far this season against each other. In the goals for category, the Nashville Pers 2.86 is 25th in the NHL. The Arizona Coyotes 2.67 is 28th in the league. When it comes to goals against, 3 is what the Nashville Pers give up per game, and that's 14th in the league, right there in the middle of the pack, while the Arizona Coyotes give up 3.48 per game. That is 23rd overall in the NHL. Shots for the Preds generate 30.6 on net per game. That's 21st best in the NHL, while the Arizona Coyotes are the worst overall in the NHL in shots on goal at 25.7. That's 32nd out of 32 teams. In the shots against category, the Nashville Pers give up 33.7 shots per game. Heavy workload on UC Saros. That's 27th in the league in the shots against category for Arizona, 35.5 per game. That is 31st in the NHL. So that is dramatically worse than the Nashville Pers in each of those statistical metrics. In the special teams category, the Nashville Pers power play 17.9% on the season is 26th in the NHL, 32 out of 179 opportunities. The Arizona Coyotes power play is better, 19.7% conversion rate, 24th overall in the league, 34 out of 173 opportunities. When it comes to the penalty kill, it is the Arizona Coyotes 25th in the league. They have given up a massive number, 54 power play goals against on the season. While the Preds have given up 38 power play goals against, they are 14th in the NHL and a kill rate of 80.2%. When it comes to the NHL, every team has significant individual offensive threats and scores, so we always go down the stats, and we always talk about the top 5 scorers on each team. For the home team, Arizona Coyotes, in this game, 24 goals, 31 assists, 55 points for Keller. Schmaltz is second in scoring on the Arizona Coyotes, 16 goals and 21 assists for 37 points. Krause, who had 2 goals against the Preds in the most recent game, 19 goals on the season, 12 assists, 31 points overall. Gosper, 9 and 20 for 29, and Maselli 4 and 25 for 29. Vejmelka in net 15, 18, and 5, but a .903 save percentage on the season. A 3.38 goals against average is not tremendous, but for a team that is in 7th place and has a goal differential of -47, to have a save percentage of over 900 is absolutely outstanding. Vejmelka is a really, really good talent for the Arizona Coyotes. Just doesn't have a lot in front of him. For the Nashville Predators, the captain, Roman Josi, has been on an absolute tear as of late. 15 goals, 36 assists, 51 points on the season to lead the Nashville Predators. Matt Duchene at 17 goals now and 29 assists for 46 points on the season. Philip Forsberg still out day-to-day, injured, but 19 goals, leads the Nashville Predators. 23 assists and 42 points, is third overall on the team. Mikhail Granlund, 9 and 25 for 34. Big uptick in Mikhail Granlund's statistics in the last couple of games. And Nino Niederreiter, 18 goals and 10 assists on the season, 28 points overall. UC Saros' updated numbers: 22 wins, 16 and 5, 916 save percentage, 2.82 goals against average. That's got you all set for the Nashville Predators versus the Arizona Coyotes coming up on Sunday. Reasonable start time for the Nashville Predators out there in the desert, and they've got revenge on their mind. They just took a beating to this same club on home ice, and frankly, looked pretty bad doing it. If the Nashville Predators want to continue climbing and fighting for a wild card spot or that final playoff spot in the Central Division, well, then these are 2 points that the Nashville Predators simply cannot leave Arizona without. That gets you all set up for the Preds and the Coyotes. We got to go back and take a look at the Nashville Predators last game. That's called the Rebirth Sports Full Game Recap, and that's coming up.